lowest species value nature system, talk to you about very important about the child problems, the problem with the people fleeing their country, and the numbers of them, and the numbers. These are war numbers. In other words, the hurt coming from the same organized crime method there in here since before our nation's founding. Oh, the religions are about this organized crime method that modern nations ignore, worse they ignore, exploit. I'm not a lawyer, not police form, not criminal. Vaccines. The science is sharing identity. That's why the ancients revealed vaccine with the Campus Marcy's value, tactically, criminally denatured. Since semi-ancient times, it's your minds. Control your minds. So they're not allowing crime acts to be reported. This is tied to when I was in grammar school in 6th grade. People walked up to me, for example. This is each year they're setting illusions through kids to exploit later, because they're lying to whole groups, like you could lie to an individual, especially a young kid, and get over on them. They're getting over on groups of class placements in relationship to a database organized crime method. For example, when I was in 6th grade, there were people that came up to me and made confessions about the name Lance Cuddy and a place on Park Street. And I'm in 6th grade, I didn't know who Lance Cuddy was. I didn't know who those people's names were. Because they're from another, they have different classes. We had like like a main part for each grade. And then the classes next to it, but you have the same class all day. It's not like, but it's connected to how you have different classes in high school, in middle school. But see, in the grammar school, at least back in the day, that's what we do it. Each person has a class with one teacher for each year. And so you don't really see the kids in other classes. And then the phenomenon of moments like that are being used for a crime of identity theft. Identity theft, because that kid, Lance Cuddy, and his brother reported confessed involved with interbranch, military, and foreign juxtaposed private drug cliques, medical cliques, with interbranch child offenders, evidence crime methods, having used already cases and databases criminally through time. It's recorded. So they need to hide that. The same way they're keeping those natures kept are tied to what originally is still is keeping more than 99.9% of the crimes caused and blamed on others and on themselves. That's why we have so many shootings in Hartford. We had that meeting the other day. God knows what they even talked about. It's because then they're starting fights too, because they're having pseudo law pretend it's other. You know. That's what's hurting them. That's what's, in other words, the law is a sacred job, but it's maintained criminally for and influenced for a crime method that the religions are about. This is why they're not allowing crime acts to be reported. They're defending titles and not reality. We have all the answers we need recorded. It shows that others being pretended reported, and they're exploiting how, like, there are, like a Scalora family recorded and confessed with a DeMoro family criminally involved with interbranch and medical families and child offenders families in my area at the time. Identity theft roles through identity thefts. You don't have to be involved with physical parts of the child offenders, like the principal sex offender just sentenced. See, they first hid that because I tried to report crime acts, and they knew that my line of correlation, countering those crime acts, I was going to demonstrate what's really recorded. So they had to lie. They forged names interbranch through time. They've been doing this because they've been using CCSU, retired and standing interbranch intermilitary, juxtaposed with foreign families, private and all that, and the shared, in other words, shared policing of the fire departments with Russians and stuff like that. They know that. Then they try to pretend that they're different sides. Where there are different sides, that is maintained sick, just to exploit where and how they are for shared ignoring the same thing. Worse than ignoring it, and they have to hide that, pretend they didn't realize. Then they're reliant upon how there are so many different police forms, private, foreign programs, with on and off campus training, undercovers, stuff like that. Don't want to give that away. They're nuts. You see what I'm saying? That's why there are so many shootings in Harvard. That's why we have criminally foreign influenced zoning laws and infrastructural pathologies since before the founding of our nation, forced with the fact-cheating nature slavery of our founders, recorded, consciously not let understood, not even let told. In other words, behold, in other words, not even letting our, it's sick. They messed up American history, real bad. George Washington both did and both did not chop down the cherry tree. That's why he came here to meet with the French general to counter extort that sick already entrenched with slavery in the North, in Wethersfield, Connecticut, Hartford, Connecticut, right before the last battle of the Revolutionary War. In other words, George didn't. So George did not tell a lie. He both did and the CT, cherry tree. There are proofs that stands for cherry tree. Even if it wasn't by him made up, which they obfuscate that, it's true anyways, because that's where he left slavery in Wethersfield, Connecticut, even with the French general's help. Because it wasn't just England that was entrenched in Connecticut. This was right before the last battle of the Revolutionary War, which secured the ability to win the last battle of the Revolutionary War. It's not physical, okay? This is about the law for real. Religion is about the law. So all we need is recorded. It shows that two Officer Mendez brothers recorded and confessed by the Morrow family and by others associated with them, involved with identity thefts, crimes with sex offenders, and as crime rolls with in-court, out-court police, inter-branch, forging names, switching names, having done so before that with other natures of crimes. Before they got involved with principal sex offenders, they wouldn't let me tell them. They arrested me for harassment for trying to report rape threats. I didn't get to the rape threats. I was trying to report different crime acts recorded involved with that. And they saw that I was going to catch them with what I caught them with which is worse than what he was doing, involved with, the principal sex offender. They also hid his confessions to me and others, recorded. They also recorded wire crime shifts, mail crimes, also recorded themselves forging and switching names into branch, and with the MPO Floyd, and with identity theft crime acts rolls with Joseph Levinskis and his family involved with other military police and like a Dillon family, recorded and confessed involved with the interbranch proven child sex offenders in my area. This is also interbranch people associated with the witness protection program, peripherally through here, with the same criminal enterprises and actors having used that and other criminal enterprises like lost leaders and stuff like that, juxtaposed with crime acts roles, timed, orchestrated, consciously with like FBI positions with the area criminally involved. They're co-defendants in a 2006 case and leading up to that 2006 case and since it with crime acts tied identity theft, evidence crimes, predicate acts, attaching me to fake conversations about the trade center. These are people with a finds of him that I don't know walked up to me, was directed to make confessions as strangers, directed to go out of their way to make confessions to us, leading, you know, regarding their roles with the Dillon family, recorded and confessed crimes with the past and new neighbors, also with NSA, other natures of like Trinity College and CCSU training of programs of police forms, interbranch. My previous neighbors, my new neighbors, involved criminally. With these contexts, with further worse child offenders tied to the principal sex offender just sentenced. And Anthony Agman also recorded and confessed by people tied to him. Also recorded and demonstrated, been stealing my identity since he was placed in my algebra class. I never had anything to do with him. That algebra class was recorded and confessed with the two Domain brothers, and him and his brothers and neighbors, also associated criminally with drugs, and with the Mendez brothers and stuff, and their roles with recorded. Before that class, I had recorded a before and after of someone who I don't know. Only through that, a Fred Grisette, who didn't go to my school, but he lived right in front of the school. So he had made all these confessions to me as a stranger. See, it was tied to what I was talking about before when I was in grammar school, where people I still don't know the name of today. They just call it, they put things into your awareness because it's tied to an identity theft that left retired interbranch needing to hide lie progressions, criminally foreign influence natures, and having that that was facilitated to and as roles with a method that is making what's coming up need to hide lie progressions, need to hide lie progression cover up natures from correlations free speech. That's why WFSB was directed to steal my speech for their recorded roles with crimes with the state judicial branch offices and within cases with retired and standing judges and police involved with the child sex offenders further. With the clicks, as recorded peripheral and direct ties to the ones already proven criminally involved with them, in other words. So fake news is real. They prevent people, they use courts to prevent people from free speech and to attach them to fake words, to fake behavior, to fake understandings. They make mistakes on purpose. That's recorded. That's recorded. That's confessed. So we need to deal with crime acts. They need to make mistakes and pretend they don't realize them through time. So deal with the crime acts, please. That's why they're using prisons that also recorded the prison clicks, CCSU, other Middlesex Community College, UConn, where they have criminal justice and all these roles with psychology, like a Leahy family, recorded and confessed, involved with identity thefts through time. A Christine with New Britain Superior Court, pretend I had relationships with the doctors when I was a kid that weren't at all. A Son Fiaglione family, also recorded and confessed roles with doctors involved with identity theft, pretending they knew me, having him spread rumors through time, the roles with clubs downtown, criminally involved. Like a Allegro's Cafe, also recorded and confessed involved with crimes with the police, foreign and domestic, and with the interbranch retired and standing, and with his neighbors. One of them was one of the cousins of one of the Fienzas, recorded and confessed involved. So they're not like, also South Seville across the street from them. And there's other military too. Also, all those are all houses connected to people in my area that I never saw in my area. But they have recorded ties to people in my area, like South Seville, recorded confessed involved but by others and recorded by themselves on Facebook, pretending they had conversations with me and pretending I was talking about the CIA. This Leahy family also pretended I had conversations about the CIA. They also pretended they forged names of other doctors in police forms. They also pretended I had conversations with them about the Trade Center. These are also people recorded, confessed with Wethersfield police and with intercity with crimes with the Scalora family, tied to the houses with crimes in my with kids in my area already with the sex offenders, with town offices further, with the mother of one of the sex offenders, recorded further involved with crimes rules with the principal sex offender and the further tied to that with the school. I've been asking to make crime acts reported through time. The media is recorded torturing me now too, because of the nature of their roles with the Trade Center crime acts. And this is tied to a proven Ninth Circuit sequence shift inside the Ninth Circuit from the Trade Center attack context that made that appear late. What was filed on time. That was proven later. That led to a 2006 case, and leading up to that, with them with roles with predicate acts, identity theft acts, tortures and threats for me and others not to say things about other natures of crimes, and on off CCSU, intercity, the same groups. O'Brien family and his son Leon family also recorded and confessed that and demonstrated that they have crime roles with each side of the corners of the street of the principal sex offender school. In other words, High Crest Street, on the corners of that. An O'Brien family and a son Leon family recorded and confessed crime roles with a Calola family. A Phil Calola also recorded and confessed by Bob Chase, involved with identity thefts against me, crimes with the sex offenders cliques, with the schools, with the policing of the schools on and off campus, with retired and standing. That was also recorded and confessed tied to when I had the algebra class with the main brother. And, excuse me.